first budget from the still new mayor of Montreal, Soraya Martinez-Ferrada, out yesterday. $89 million in additional spending this year. Several key additions to it. Municipal taxes across Montreal set to go up by 3.8%. There's also some spending for police body cameras and to put cameras in public spaces. Let's get into the nitty-gritty on the City of Montreal's budget. Claude Pinard's with us, president of Montreal's Executive Committee. Monsieur Pinard. Claude, welcome to our studios.
Happy to be here.
So, how's life at the City of Montreal? How's it going so far?
It's busy. You know, it's been 2 months. It's absolutely a new working challenge for me. I love it. You know, like you're, how should I put it, under the spotlight?
Yes,
yeah?
Yes, you are
a lot. And but one of the things we're doing, the mayor and me, is we're acting on the situation. And one of the things that was very important for us was to fill that void of leadership. There was a void of leadership in Montreal.
So in practice, what did that mean? This void of leadership, what do you mean? Give me a concrete example of what this void of leadership was leading to.
Homelessness, you go out there, you say, it's not my problem, Quebec should do, should help, and, we're not going to act on it, and happens what happens, right? So we knew the housing crisis was going to create those situations. Yeah. It's been known since 2017-16. It's been known since 1995 that the investments in housing was not at par level. So if you're out there and say, you know what, this I can do, but this I can't, we looked at it differently. So we say Montreal's our house. In front of our house on the sidewalk, there's people sleeping there. This is absolutely unacceptable. We have to take care of this. And what we did, took one call. We got everybody around the table. The government, community organizations, of course, the city, and the police, all the services.
Does that come down to decisions on what you make a priority? Like, because was the previous administration, they were spending their time on something. Yeah. Did they just make judgment calls to spend it on other things?
So governing is deciding, right? Yeah. So and then deciding is deciding on priorities, and we know that security. Cleanliness. Yeah. We know that housing situation. We know the homelessness was a priorities for Montrealers. We know that, and so homelessness at the end of the day, Elias, it becomes a decision on dignity. Yeah. So how do you accept how do you accept the situation, number one, and then all the problems created around this. And one of the things we do that I think is very damaging in a way is we sort of put everybody in the same bunch, right? So there's people that really don't have a roof to sleep under. There's people that have mental health problems. There's people that are drug addicts and they have issues. We need to be able to tackle this in a moral standpoint kind of way. But
it's all of the other, like all of this stuff. It affects everyone. As someone that left downtown, I don't live downtown anymore because I'm not raising a family in downtown Montreal. It's just not a safe place. So there's all these other ripple effects. So I'm very happy that you're taking care of this, or at least it's a priority. Let's call it that to start off. Now I want to get into, you're a numbers guy. So you arrive. Yeah. It's time to open up the books and find out what's there. What was the situation that you were faced when you had to come up with a new budget, and what were you left financially from the previous administration?
Absolutely no margin of errors. So let's say you take the example of a belt. Yeah. There's no more holes. You can't absolutely do nothing else. So, and we're faced with situations where the servicing the debt this year is going to be 87 million more than last year. 87 million more, Elias. What does that mean? I just want to give you like an idea. So 1% of tax increase is 40 million. So that's the kind of situations we have.
That explains why taxes are going up higher than inflation. Is it servicing the debt?
So there's a couple of things in your question. So if you talk about the 3.8, which is the fiscal charge to people, then I don't want to get too technical here, but so we said that we would stay on a tax hike at inflation, which we did for September. The 3.4 that we deposited yesterday, tabled yesterday, is equivalent to 3%, and then the 0.8 comes from the boroughs.
Okay.
So that's how it goes. So we did respect our engagement of being at inflation.
Could you have made tougher decisions? Because I know you're saying, oh, well, we've made some savings here, but then you look at the savings, I think it was $79 million in savings. And I'm like, the total budget's $7.67 billion. So I look at $79 million and say, oh, that's not even a drop in the bucket. Could there have been more savings?
So we've been there for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
And the last 2 months was the learning curve was, hockey stick kind of, if I could put it this way. And so we've learned a lot on how we could do things. I said yesterday that we would be working on efficiency and optimization. We also announced that that has been in the campaign and we're keeping it, that there's going to be 1,000 less jobs in 4 years. I can confirm that, we're going to do this. Absolutely. No.
You achieve that by not like people retire, you don't replace them. How are you achieving that?
So there's many ways. First, there's retirement, like you just said. Second, there's currently a lot of vacant jobs. So we're going to look at that. And then the third way to look at it, and that's the depth at which we want to go, is we're not going to look at the person sitting on the chair. We're gonna be looking at, do we need that chair? So it's really a return, back to basics. So what's the job of the city? And that's how we're going to be looking at all expenses and turning every rocks.
Can we talk about spending that reinforces promises made during the campaign?
Yeah.
So what's in the budget that you would say, look at this money we're spending, and it means we're going to follow up on our promise? I'm thinking of the Cavendish extension, which was a big promise during the campaign. Well, we're actually going to start this. This is the real deal. No more talking. We're going to get it done. Was there money for that in the budget yesterday?
Absolutely. So there's money over the 10-year span. But this being said, we're starting right now. There's studies that need to be completed.
Yeah.
We've committed to that. It's there.
Okay. So we could say the budget is good news for those who have been pining for this Cavendish extension.
Yeah. We need to finish the studies. Then we'll make a decision.
Okay. So what else? What other spending do you say, look at this spending, it proves that we're following up on our promises?
Homelessness is one example. Housing is another example. The evaluation inventories of all the pieces of land and buildings that the city has. The action we're going to take on buying buildings in order to eventually renovate and put people in there. That's there. So there's I could go on and on with like 20 examples of what's being done, but we've been able to integrate, I would say, 75% of everything that we said just this year. Another example is Renoplex, which is a program to help people in case of floods, preventing or making their house
more resilient.
Exactly. That's what the word I was looking for. More resilient. There's money in there. We said we were going to do it. There's a lot of initiatives.
We're with Claude Pinard, president of Montreal's executive committee. We're talking about the budget that was tabled yesterday. So I want to get into spending on some things like body cameras for police officers. Cameras for public spaces, right? Those are two promises there over 10 years. And so I'm thinking about that. Well, over 10 years, does that mean it's not happening anytime soon? It's just earmarked, but we won't see any results. How do you explain that?
As far as cameras in the public space, there are cameras in the public space right now, right? Yeah. So it does exist. So we're saying we might need more, and we put the money in there. Then the $40 million for the body cams. Body cams, comes with a host of discussions we need to have. One being privacy, the other one being the cost of managing all this in clouds, the data in clouds and stuff like that. But there's a legislative agenda in this, and we decided to put the money in there and say, now we need to talk to the Quebec government and see if we can make this happen. And
what do you say to a taxpayer that looks at, another increase, and I think it's like $190 per household if you average it out, whatever it is? What do you say to taxpayers like, wait a minute, I'm getting dinged yet again. My services are not improving. In some cases, they're being pulled back. What do you say to the taxpayer that wants better services and lower taxes, and not so sure you're delivering on that? I know the challenge is tough, but it's hard to deliver on that, but that's what they want.
So one of the things that I say, Elias, is that those costs are also increasing at City of Montreal. So we have 30,000 employees, 25,000 actual jobs. And, in the budget this year, it's 2.5%. Of increase. That's what's in the budget. We're currently negotiating 7 collective bargaining agreement. But coming back to your point, If you take 1% increase on a salary at the City of Montreal is $25 million. So this year, starting the year, I have to find $62 million.
For salary increases.
For next year. So that's coming every year after year after year. So the work has to be done. It is tough on everybody. We do understand, not easy. You were bang on. It's 188, the average for a $791,000 dwelling in Montreal, average. But we together, we're not cutting services. We want to be better. And one of the things I went to politics, Elias, is I wanted to bring back pride in Montreal. I think we've lost a lot of that, a lot of the cleanliness, a lot of the security, and we're going to be working hard on this.
Is it? I've heard some people say that accuse the administration of punting. In football, you punt. If you don't want to make the decision now, you punt it down the road. Yeah. So I see a lot of, in 10 years, like, for instance, bike path network. And there are a lot of people, and me included, that's like, hey, bike paths are a good thing overall, long-term, if you want to alleviate traffic, even if I'm a car driver. But some of the decisions made were it's sort of like, okay, you're going to punt the real decisions on if we're expanding bike networks, or we're going to invest, or if we're not going to invest, and the road network as well. So was there enough definitive stuff on the city's true vision for where we're going to move forward on road network and bike paths and that vision?
I think in the vision you're talking about, and I said it yesterday, it's kind of awkward, but this is kind of a boring budget in a way. So I don't have like major projects because we need to get the house in order. That's number one. And then if you talk about bike paths, we have $475 million over the next 10 years. But let's take this year. Let's be concrete. Yeah. Same amount of money to maintain what's currently there. And we're investing $800,000 less on a $22 million budget that was scheduled on development. So we're not talking about big cuts here. Yeah. And then people are referring to Big C. I'm gonna give you that answer too. So Big C, we've just moved a bit of the expenses, but the Big C money is just basically for expansion, not for cutting services at all. It's just for expansions. We just said, hey guys, we're currently doing an evaluation, a monitoring, audit of what's happening with the bike path. Let's do that, and then we'll make the decision.
I am getting text messages from listeners from the parts of Montreal that were hard hit, where the increases were above that 3.8%. Hearing from people in Verdun and Ile-Bizard who are saying, Ile-Bizard 6.3%, right?
Yes.
What do you say to residents of City of Montreal that have been quite hard hit by yesterday's budget?
So what we say is that we've started the moving more money towards boroughs. We indexed the transfer by 3% this year, which was the biggest increase since 2016. Why? Because the services close to citizens is super important for us. Then again, the boroughs have to do their job. When we did that transfer, I called everyone and I said, listen, we've got to be sure that you're spending the money properly, and you have to alleviate tax increases. A lot of boroughs did that. A lot of boroughs did not do that. And it's just so much we can do here.
Mr. Pinard, Claude, thanks for coming in this morning.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate the face-to-face in studio, and we'll talk again real soon, okay?
All right, thank you.
Claude Pinard is the president of Montreal's Executive Committee.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.